Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and this is the channel where I went to business school so you didn't need to, and today we are talking about Palantir Technologies PLTR stock, and why this particular author thinks that the PLTR stock is way overvalued, and why the fair value price is actually around $2.50, so I will be going through this article and giving my thoughts about it. Then we're going to move on to a more neutral article, which says that the PLTR stock is actually a good buy around $5, and that smart money is actually buying up the PLTR stock at below $8 per share. And right now, the current stock price trades for around $7.55, so this could be a phenomenal buying opportunity, which is exactly what our next author thinks about the PLTR stock. He is very bullish and positive on Palantir as a company and the long-term growth aspects for the PLTR stock. So we're going to be deep diving into his article to determine if Palantir is still a good buying opportunity despite the current stock market environment. After that, we're going to discuss what's next for Palantir pertaining to their future projections for their financials, which is going to help us forecast the future PLTR stock price. After that, we're going to go over the latest news update concerning Palantir Technologies and their newest collaboration with Trafigura, which is great news, and this Palantir collaboration is going to allow this company to track and hopefully lower their carbon emissions for the overall environment. Then we're going to end the video with Alex Karp talking about the nuclear risk of war throughout the globe right now and how it's going to increase the PLTR stock price as well as other defensive contractor stocks, so stay tuned for that. Lastly, I want to give you all some free money, so if you go into the description of this video and you click on the Webull link and you already don't have a Webull account, where Webull is a brokerage platform that allows you to buy and sell stocks and cryptocurrencies, if you sign up for Webull and you invest $100 into any stock that they have on their platform, I personally would invest into ticker symbol VOO because that's an ETF that tracks the S&P 500, and that's how you build wealth over the long term by dollar cost averaging into that. But nonetheless, if you go in, sign up, invest $100 into any stock that you choose, you are going to get 6 free stocks and you're going to be entered in to win $12,000. So even in the worst case scenario, you're going to make an account, invest $100 into VOO, you're going to get 6 free stocks, and if you don't win the $12,000, you can just liquidate the free stocks that they gave you, close your account, and take your money out. Literally, there's no loss to you in this. It's only upside. So if you want free money, remember to go down to the Webull link in the description, click on it, sign up, invest, and best of luck to you. But without further ado, for more videos on Palantir Technologies, remember to go and smash that like button right now, subscribe if you are new, comment your thoughts down below, and without further ado, let's jump right into today's stories. So clearly, this author thinks that the PLTR stock is way overvalued right now, and he says that the PLTR stock is a strong selling opportunity right now because the fair value is actually around $2.50. He also says that the sales outlook for 2022 is not very appealing, which is why he gave the company a soft downgrade from their previous guidance, which is why he believes that the current stock price is worth only around $2.50. Now, throughout this article, he doesn't really give any math to back this $2.50 price target. It's like he's just pulling this number out of nowhere. So let's actually see what a more balanced view would be. Well, the next author says that the PLTR stock is interesting at around $5 per share, but he does note that smart money is buying up the PLTR stock below $8. So clearly, the PLTR stock is much cheaper than it was in the past because of how far the PLTR stock price has fallen due to the terrible market environment that we are in right now. This is also due to deceleration, particularly in their government segment, which has scared investors to liquidate their PLTR stock. Not to mention, growth stocks and technology stocks are under fire in general, which is why we see ETFs like QQQ also going down extremely fast. The author does note that although the PLTR stock is technically expensive, it is a growth stock, so you're basing the current stock price according to its future stock price appreciation. So he says if it gets anywhere around or below $5, it's a clear buying opportunity for him. Now going over to the more bullish price target from a very positive reporter, he says that it seems there have been many positive developments for Palantir Technologies that have been overlooked. He also goes on to say that Palantir offers excellent growth prospects with substantial profitability potential, and I 100% agree with him. Palantir Technologies is going to be absurdly profitable in the year of 2025 based off of their current projections. He also goes on to say that the company's stock could appreciate considerably in the coming years, which is why he advocates that if you buy the PLTR stock, don't sell it within the next 5 to 10 years. You're going to have to hold on to the stock for a really long time before you actually see the fruit of investing into this company. So in the meantime, you're going to have to stomach the volatility and the downturns and the potential short-term losses that you could experience with Palantir Technologies, as we've seen. So now I want to jump in fully into an article that literally says what's next for Palantir Technologies. So based on the negative, neutral, and positive perspectives that we just got, let's see how they fit in to what's next for Palantir Technologies based on their projections. Well, first I want to point out that Palantir's US commercial revenue is anticipated to literally double for the third consecutive year in a row, which is absolutely insane. They are going to be growing their commercial revenue to around $400 million, which is insane. Palantir literally remains one of the most high conviction long-term plays for this particular author. So let's discuss why this is and why he's so bullish on the overall stock. Palantir has literally established its technology and itself as a business as the essential service for the United States government and their allies. The author says there is virtually a limitless total addressable market, or TAM, that Palantir is going to successfully unlock outside of the government sector. So he's saying that although they are very integrated with the United States government and their allies, the real money is going to be made over in their commercial segment, and that's something I have said literally from day one of reporting on this company, so it's good to see that this is actually coming true. He goes on to say that Palantir's business is fundamentally strong while the company continues to build amazing technology platforms. Particularly, he says that Foundry is going to be their key to future success, and I 100% agree with them. If you didn't know, Palantir Technologies is a big data and analytics company that serves both commercial clients as well as government enterprises, and they actually use Palantir's technology to help either organizations or government institutions make decisions based off of data. So one of the most significant ways that Palantir actually differentiates its technologies from its competitors is how secure it is, and that's why government agencies really like using it. Their software continues to evolve year over year, and this is all coming from the CEO himself, who is Alex Karp. It's also said that Palantir is set to thrive during good times as well as bad times, and bad times clearly refers to a time of war, which we will talk about towards the end of this video. With Palantir's advanced technology, they are years ahead of their competition, according to this author. And this is why Palantir Technologies and their PLTR stock is well positioned for long-term growth. So this is a lot of good news. However, what do the numbers say? Because that's personally what I care about. Well, for quarter one of 2022, in case you missed it, their revenue grew by around 31% year over year, which is phenomenal news because their overall management says that they plan to grow the company's revenue by at least a 30% compounding annual growth rate from now until 2025. So clearly, they are even over-delivering on that promise. Now, the real key to their success is their commercial revenue, which grew by around 54% year over year, which has accelerated literally for the 5th straight quarter. Also, specifically, their United States commercial revenue grew by around 136%, so this means organizations outside of government entities are absolutely loving Palantir's technology, which means that our previous prediction has definitely come true, and their commercial side is going to be the thing that takes them profitable. They also grew their customer count by around 40 customers in quarter one of 2022, which would represent an 86% increase year over year. And these are going to be the gifts that keep on giving, because Palantir has a tendency to not only gain new clients, but also maintain them. Now, bearish, negative naysayers and critics of Palantir Technologies are going to say that their government revenues have somewhat decelerated because they want to have a 30% compounding annual growth rate. However, recently, their government revenue grew only by around around 16%. And although yes, it's good because that is positive, it's not as impressive as some investors want. However, I do want to point out that from 2013 all the way until 2021, their United States government revenue has had a compounding annual growth rate of 30%. So yes, indeed, they are maintaining their promises to their shareholders. We do see somewhat of a deceleration in their government revenues, which is true. Even the neutral author said that Palantir Technologies has seen major deceleration, and I'm pretty sure he's referring to their government revenue, and I would agree with that. However, they don't see a deceleration in their overall revenue. For instance, let's see what the chief financial officer of Palantir has to say about this. He says, and I quote, "We expect acceleration of our U.S. government revenue into the second half of the year. In quarter two to date, we have already seen the receleration of U.S. government revenue and expect acceleration of the overall government segment to follow in the next quarter or shortly thereafter," end quote. So although yes, we do see the U.S. government revenue somewhat slowing down, it is not supposed to be a trend that will continue forever. It's supposed to eventually stabilize out or even re-accelerate later on, according to the chief financial officer. So based on management's remarks, and particularly from their CFO, clearly Palantir's government revenue will start to accelerate for the rest of 2022, and it's not going to be around 16%. Now let's go to the more positive news, which is their commercial revenue. Palantir's commercial segment is absolutely amazing, and it's growing year over year and quarter over quarter, which is extremely good news. So this is clearly something that investors need to remember and keep their eye on, because as Palantir continues to increase their government revenue and they start to increase their commercial revenue very aggressively, this is going to reflect very positively on the overall PLTR stock price. So we have done this in previous videos, but we're going to use an LA Stevens valuation model to determine the true price of Palantir Technologies PLTR stock. So on screen you can see that this author is using the LA Stevens valuation model, which we have used multiple times in the past, and this is a very good way to determine what a growth stock should actually be valued at. So by putting in the metrics on screen and we scroll down and hit calculate, we can see that Palantir's present value should at least be worth around $33.83 per share today. So that is absolutely insane. This would not mean that Palantir is overvalued. It actually means that they're undervalued on a growth stock basis. And what this means is that although Palantir Technologies, yes, if we are only using current financials, the company can be considered overvalued. But because Palantir's PLTR stock is a growth stock, and we have to use their future projections and their future growth rates to then discount it to what it should be worth today, we get around a $33 price target, which is why this particular analyst is extremely bearish. And the main reason for this very high price target is their free cash flows, which we have talked about a multitude of times in other videos. So the author of this article does believe that the PLTR stock is a strong buying opportunity at $8 per share. So going back to our previous articles, we have a very bearish low fair value price target of $2.50. We have an interesting price target between $5 and $8, and then we have a more bullish price prediction that goes as high as $33. With that being said, let's dive into some of the latest PLTR stock news and their collaboration with Trafigura. So Palantir Technologies, like we said earlier, is a phenomenal technology company that is going to help Trafigura with their Foundry platform to make better decisions and track their overall carbon emissions. So they're going to help them calculate their overall carbon emissions, so hopefully they can lower that. The Business Wire article says that Palantir is going to enable their participants to better understand life cycle emissions related to their indirect operations, to benchmark against other participants and identify opportunities for lower carbon pathways. So overall, I would say this is a very positive collaboration. It's nothing huge, but at least we are seeing Palantir continuously branching out into new companies, different sectors and segments, and that organizations really trust this overall company. The chairman and CEO of Trafigura actually says, and I quote, "Our customers are increasingly asking us for visibility into the life cycle emissions of the commodities we move as they prepare for regulated Scope 3 emissions reporting and more generally for net zero. He goes on to say, the complexity involved in commodity supply chains requires robust cooperation across the industry and a technological solution that can enable meaningful decisions and change. We are delighted to jointly deliver a solution to market with Palantir, whose technology can manage the complexity and data scrutiny required to provide additional services to our customers and the market, end quote. Following this statement by the Trafigura CEO, Palantir's CEO had to say this in return, and I quote, "The collective action required to address many of our most pressing global challenges requires more than resolve or a shift in political priorities." He goes on to say, "It requires a shared understanding of the facts based on data. We have built software platforms that deliver that shared understanding by enabling institutions across entire industries and sectors to collaborate and model the world in which they operate," end quote. So overall, I would say this is a very positive news development and a good PR move for Palantir Technologies. Lastly, we're going to talk about the threat of nuclear war, which Palantir's CEO says is actually good for the company. Palantir's CEO says he believes that there is around a 20 to 30% chance of a nuclear war taking place across the world due to the Russia and Ukraine conflict. And he says that other people who think that it's only around a 1% chance of nuclear war are basically just kidding themselves. So this in turn is going to make government contractors and very secure technology companies that offer and work with US government entities such as Palantir Technologies are going to become paramount here, especially as things start to heat up even more. The article goes on to say that Palantir does plan to benefit from nuclear war or even fears of a nuclear war. And the main reason behind this is because this company sells their software to militaries around the world, particularly the United States military and United States allies, mainly over in Europe. So technically, bad news is good news for Palantir Technologies. But I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Remember to go and smash that like button right now, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next YT video.